Hey everyone, JL here, and welcome back to Bridge the Divide, where I examine irrational beliefs, the irrational behaviors that follow, and how we, with education, rationality, and reason, can bridge the societal divides that they create. When it comes to bad arguments, anti-intellectualism, and fallacious reasoning, none can hold a candle to Kent-Hovind cult member Matt Powell. When it comes to misrepresentation and outright dishonesty, Powell is equally as bad. He's even been caught editing his own debates, cutting out his opponent's responses showing him where he's wrong before uploading them to his own channel. He's also guilty of making some of the most atrocious claims this side of the Old Testament.
Eric Harris created a website that promoted evolution theory. And in fact, what drove him to murder his own classmates was actually his belief in atheism and in evolution.
Recently, Matt had a bone to pick with us big bad atheists and went to great lengths to express why we could not be trusted. And the entire crux of his argument was centered on, of all possible things, our personal decor.
One of the things that has really stuck out to me recently is the fact that these atheists that I'm dealing with on the internet, about 90% of them always have these posters of Final Fantasy or Mario Kart or Super Mario Brothers.
Okay, ridiculous dramatic background music aside, what exactly does it matter what people have on their walls? These debaters and content creators often work from their personal offices or bedrooms. So why wouldn't they decorate their personal space how they see fit? If they choose to surround themselves with things that make them happy, why do you care? I think Matt may have filmed this video out in the Dinosaur Adventureland barn because, honestly, I smell straw.
In their background of their videos. This to me is kind of like a dead giveaway.
That people like different things than you? That you have no imagination? That you have absolutely nothing in your life that brings you personal joy? That you're so completely obsessed with sticking it to the people that you don't like that you'll attack them in any way you possibly can, including erecting obvious strawmen because you're a dishonest, uneducated, ignorant misogynist who can't pull his head out of Hovind's ass long enough to string together a coherent syllogism? Oh, sorry, you aren't done. Please continue.
Because these people, they're obviously living in a fantasy land.
Nope, they just like to decorate their spaces with the things they like. Assuming anything further about their worldview is just your own projection, Matt.
By believing that the world popped into existence uncaused with no God.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
The world didn't just pop into existence. No one who is scientifically literate says this. Yet again, you're misinterpreting the Big Bang cosmological model. I just can't tell if you're honestly this stupid, or if you know you're lying and you're just grifting off of the ignorance of your audience.
A little from column A, a little from column B.
I mean, that in and of itself requires belief in magic, belief in superstition, if you will.
Check out Aaron looking all badass there. Like he's about to defeat Chancellor Gowron in single combat and then hand the leadership over to General Martok. Good times. Matt, I apologize, I forgot you were there. Nope, no magic necessary. Just natural process. Oh, and the bits where we don't have explanations, we just say we don't know, but we are currently working on figuring them out. You're the one claiming a Sky Daddy created everything out of nothing. I'm constantly amazed at how idiots like Matt continue to project their own worldview onto others and think it is not both obvious and pathetic.
But the fact is that this crowd has really never grown out of Toon Network.
Millions of theists and atheists alike enjoy cartoons the world over. For some people, they can even be a job. Get over it.
They haven't grown out of Nickelodeon.
What exactly is wrong with Nickelodeon? Have you even heard of Avatar: The Last Airbender? That show was awesome. Rest in peace, Ana Lucia. #Toph forever.
Most of them on the internet that do response videos to me or other creation apologists, They have literal fantasy stuff hanging up in their background.
It's decorations, Matt. To them, it's art. It's expressions of creativity. It's expressions of things they like. And I won't lie, that painting of Deadpool and Negasonic is sweet.
They've got Marvel comics hanging everywhere.
You mean like this one, hanging up in my office? It's signed by Stan Lee.
They never grew out of Super Nintendo.
Dude, the Super NES was an amazing console. Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Donkey Kong Country, Super Mario World, Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana, Mega Man X, just to name a few. It's not our fault your mommy wouldn't front for Nintendo Power and you got duped and went off and bought an Atari Jaguar.
I mean, this is the crowd that we're dealing with.
No, Matt, that's actually a small percentage of the atheists that you deal with. Not all of us have the same taste. Some love anime, like this debater does. Some love gaming. Some love toys and other kitschy stuff. Some, like me, love dragons, which I've been collecting from around the world for decades now. This doesn't mean I think they actually exist. And I'm pretty sure that Lawrence Krauss doesn't have any Funko Pops on his desk. No doubt if he did, I know which one he'd choose.
I figured it would be appropriate.
It's not, Matt. Everything you say is inappropriate, because everything you say is a f***ing lie.
To really point this out, because this is the same crowd that's coming after your children right now.
There's that fear-mongering again. For all the believers watching this, atheists are not after your kids. Matt's making us out to be like some deluded, hateful storybook boogeyman, screaming about the government's overreach from our secluded rural compound while we hate preach to the children that live there.
The reason that they create cartoons and try to tell you why the Bible's wrong is because they want to infiltrate the minds of the youth.
I can only speak for myself, but all of my videos covering crazy Christian claims are all marked inappropriate for children before I upload them. And I'd hazard that the vast majority of atheist content creators do the same as well. So you're wrong again, Chief.
They want to change their mind. They want to get them thinking that there is no God.
No, we want people to think critically and examine evidence with intellectual honesty. If their conclusion is that there is no God, and God actually exists, that's on God, not them. And it is certainly not their fault that your God requires the absolute worst mistakes in human reasoning be made to believe in it.
Misery loves company. They're making it their purpose to tell everybody that there is no purpose.
But there is purpose, Matt, and it is for each individual on this earth to determine for themselves what that purpose is. That's the beauty inherent in not believing that you're just a rat in God's terrarium. That's the beauty of not belonging to a cult that tells you how to think or feel. It's called freedom.
And if you have children that have been influenced by these guys, just point out to your kids that these are a bunch of adults that have never grown out of childhood.
Aw, Matty boy, I'm sorry you didn't have a positive childhood experience. But making baseless claims in an impotent attempt to attack others' happiness out of spiteful envy is just pathetic.
Why else would they have Dragon Ball Z in the background?
Because they dig the anime, you ding-dong!
It's certainly not because they ever harbored a secret crush on Bulma for years because she was super cute and crazy smart and did stuff like invent the Dragon Radar, and they were so happy when she finally left Yamcha, but then got their heart broken when she turned around and married Goku's eternally sworn opponent Vegeta. What the hell was she thinking?
Oh, what was that, Matt?
Or Star Fox.
Do a barrel roll!
I mean, it just, to me, it's a dead giveaway. We're dealing with a crowd of people that are literally stuck in their childhood and they've never grown out of it.
Enjoying anime or gaming or comics or whatever does not speak directly to the worldview or character of any one person. Henry Cavill, one of the hardest working and most in-demand entertainers today, loves World of Warcraft and Warhammer 40k. Robin Williams' love of Zelda was as legendary as his love of helping the homeless. Ronda Rousey has a 4th-degree black belt in judo and loves Pokemon. Joe Manganiello has a freaking D&D dungeon in his house. The list goes on and on. These people have worked their asses off their entire lives and luckily can afford to indulge in the pastimes that they enjoy. Don't be bitter just because someone with Pikachu and Kirby on their walls kicked your ass in a debate, Matt. It's shallow and unbecoming.
But of course, this is the first crowd to tell us that the Bible's wrong.
Technically, it's the scientifically literate who are the first to tell you the Bible is wrong. That scientifically literate people also enjoy games and comics is completely irrelevant. My love of Halo doesn't mean Noah's Ark existed.
This is the first crowd to come to tell us that dinosaurs farted themselves to death.
You're misrepresenting that article. JCAD already explained how. I'll link to his video in the description.
Or that squids and octopi rode on a comet from outer space into our Earth and crash landed.
And this article about octopi from space was actually covering a highly controversial paper that was published in 2018. That paper pretty much pushes the fringe idea of panspermia, that all or some life on this planet was seeded here by interstellar objects like comets and meteors. It has since been decried as deeply speculative and nothing more than fanciful thinking. I'm starting to think that Matt is doing this deliberately. He is capitalizing on clickbait articles so that he can frame the information they're trying to convey in the most ridiculous way possible in order to further deceive his gullible audience. What a tool. Wait, tool would imply that there is at least a single legitimate use for you, Matt. What a DVD rewinder.
To evolve and to continue their evolution on Earth.
Evolution is a fact, Matty. One day you will learn that evolution and God are not mutually exclusive concepts. Evolution being true doesn't disprove the existence of a God, it just disproves the creation account in the Bible. God could still exist, and humans just humaned up the Bible.
Of course, the crowd that tells us that the Bible is incorrect and that Jesus was just a man and not God is the very crowd that believes that monkeys made a sea voyage from Africa to South America on rafts. That they literally surfed from Africa to South America.
There is no evidence that Christ was divine or was anything more than the David Koresh of Iron Age Palestine. Your claim that he is solely based upon what the Bible says, and your claim that the Bible is true is just begging the question. It is your position that is fallacious, not ours. And the article he's misrepresenting there is from the February 2015 issue of National Geographic. It talks about how the ancestors of New World monkeys were accidental migrants from Africa over 30 million years ago. It covers all the evidence that supports this claim, which is called oceanic dispersal. And it hypothesizes that with no natural land bridges between South America and Africa, that these animals were likely brought over by what are called rafting events. And it's the best conclusion given the evidence at hand. And yes, I agree, the title is a bit clickbaity, but that's because even National Geographic has fallen prey to this necessary tactic in order to maintain its readership in the internet age.
One guy responded to me recently. He goes, well, that sounds crazy. Let's clarify. It wasn't a surfboard. It was a log or some seaweed.
So we have seen evidence, plenty of evidence, for animals drifting on logs, drifting on seaweed, drifting on whatever through the ocean.
It sure is nice of Matt to put the proof of his dishonesty in his own video. Thanks, Matt. And yes, the article did need clarification. It was clickbaity. And the dude did just that.
I mean, that's pretty desperate when you're saying that monkeys actually rafted on seaweed across the ocean. I mean, give me a break.
He also said it could have been many other things. You're getting hung up on the wrong part, Matt. The important part was that we have documented evidence of animals inadvertently crossing large bodies of water via makeshift rafts formed out of accumulated vegetation. This is how lemurs got from Africa to Madagascar. Not all survive the journey, but some do. Hence, the raft hypothesis.
You know, it just, to me...
Matt, your incredulity stems from your lack of understanding, and your lack of understanding stems from your unwillingness to do the work and learn. You're not only dishonest, you're lazy.
I don't even know what to say.
That's okay, Matt. Best not to embarrass yourself further by trying. Besides, you're so top left, we wouldn't be able to hear your ignorant lies anyway.
Internet atheists and non-believers, I tried, okay?
You failed.
I tried my best. I can honestly say that I've tried my best.
Your best. Losers always whine about their best.
To help you understand the world around you.
I wouldn't exactly call openly deceiving your audience and attempting to indoctrinate them with cult beliefs helping them. Ultimately, you're nothing more than a parasite, Matt. A squirming, spiteful parasite, feeding off of the ignorance of the fearful and spraying your toxic excrement at anyone who disagrees with you.
If you don't want to understand the world around you, if you want to continue living in Toon Network land or Nickelodeon land, like your posters have demonstrated,
poisoning the well. For the last time, Smooth Brain, what pastime someone enjoys does not speak directly to what they believe about reality. Sorry, Kevin.
I can't help you.
Trust me, Atari Boy, when I say that the human species needs your help like the state of Kentucky needed a 500-foot leaking boat attraction.
You have to grow out of childhood into adulthood.
This coming from the guy who spends most of his time playing perpetual sidekick to an over-the-hill, domestic-abusing convicted tax cheat while surrounded by aluminum-siding dinosaurs. Guess what, Matt? I hate to break it to you, but you are not the arbiter of what is and is not adulthood. You're legally an adult at the age of 18, and as long as you pay your bills and your taxes and don't break the law, you can do whatever the hell you want with your money. Like hunt down an $80 copy of Pirate's Gold for the Sega Genesis, just because it came with the original map.
The Bible says that when I became a man, I put away childish things.
Exactly why would you quote the Bible at people who put no stock in it? God damn, you're dense.
When you have posters of literal Nickelodeon, SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward in your background...
That wasn't SpongeBob, you idiot. That was Pokemon. Don't make me sick Rhonda on you.
That is such a dead giveaway that you've never grown out of Marvel Comics.
My nerd rage is building. SpongeBob isn't Marvel, you asshat. Please stop talking about you know nothing about.
That you've never grown out of PBS.
I assume you're only saying PBS because you associate it with Sesame Street, and that's a shame because Sesame Street is an amazing show and has been for over 50 years. Not to mention, PBS also hosts Nova, The Joy of Painting, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Reading Rainbow, Bob the Builder, and Masterpiece Theater. That you would put PBS in this context only demonstrates that you've never watched PBS. But given the level of your intellectual dishonesty and ignorance, that's hardly a surprise.
That you've never grown out of the things that you need to grow out of.
Why do people need to grow out of the things they love, Matt? So they can turn out to be as mindless and callow as you?
Jog on.
I don't do these videos to be condescending towards you, if you are one of these folks.
You know what's really f***ed up, Matt? I think you actually believe what you just said.
I simply point this out because it's kind of the elephant in the room.
No, it isn't. It's a straw man, Matt. You're addressing how people decorate their rooms and offices instead of addressing their arguments. And that's because you have no argument. I've seen you smashed in debates. I would smash you myself if you had the stones to show up. But odds are, I don't have enough clout yet for you to chase. So I think that's going to be enough from the top left hate-spewing Atari Jaguar-loving parasite of ignorance, Matt Powell. Listen, Matt, I honestly don't care what you believe. If you want to dance around a secluded compound and then snuggle up in a trailer in the woods with Daddy Kent, you do you, man. Live your best life. But if you actually want to address the issues, to discuss actual topics, like your fallacious reasoning or the cult behavior of your little group, then making ad hominem straw man videos to attack the characters of the people that you don't like is not the way to go about it. It just confirms everything that we previously thought about you. That you're nothing more than a petulant child. That you're terrified your God may not actually exist. That you'll commit any dishonest act that pops into that pigeon brain of yours to hold on to that belief. and you'll bring as many unwitting victims of your lies straight down with you. But I, and others like me, will do everything we can to continue to educate your audience, to give them the tools they need to critically evaluate evidence, and to safeguard themselves against dangerous parasites like you. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, please like and subscribe, and be sure to hit that bell for notifications. And be sure to leave a comment below. I really enjoy reading your responses, and those interactions help with the dreaded algorithm. Don't forget, March is Developmental Disability Awareness Month. I'm still trying to get the beard green. It's a work in progress. Oh, and if you love scary movies, be sure to check out me and my filmmaker friends over at the Week in Horror podcast, now in our 3rd season. Once again, thank you all very much for your continued support. And as always, be safe, be excellent to each other, and together, we can bridge the divide.